What up, though? This is Knockouts in 3 Counts. But before we bring you another episode of Podcast Gold, let me tell you about the homies over at Michigan's Finest. Do you ever find yourself trying to get yourself together and thinking, man, this is going to be a great night, but I'm looking for that little extra something? Well, check out our friends at Michigan Finest. If you are into medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, concentrates, vapes, anything of that sort, Michigan's Finest has got you covered. And as you can see here, it's all easily done by their website. It's all curbside, and you'll be in and out in 2 minutes. And they're family owned and operated, so customer service is their number one goal. And now, since they are rocking with Knockouts in 3 Counts, use the code KO3MF. Yes, that's KO3MF. You get 10% off your entire order, but that does exclude featured items and items that are already on sale. But if you use that code, you're getting 10% off your items, and I promise you, either if you're looking for that big knockout or you're ready to hit the sheets for that 3 count, Michigan's Finest will get you together. Tell them Knockouts in 3 Counts sent you, and I promise you, you're going to be having a great night. Peace.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Rock, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts in 3 Counts.
Cover! We got it, the new world champion! That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts in 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts in 3 Counts starts now.
What up, though? It is another Thursday, and as they say in the world of pro wrestling, cards subject to change, motherfuckers, but on a last minute coming through in the clutch, somebody we've been talking about bringing on for a long time, making his debut on the show tonight. We got Juancamilo Ronderos before his fight February 18th with the UFC. Hopefully I didn't butcher your fucking name too bad, but welcome to the show.
You got that shit right on point, my guy. Thank you so much for having me, guys. Again, very thankful for it.
Goddamn, gold star for the day.
I was curious if it was a Ronderos or a Honderos. I was unsure with the.
No, you got to roll the R, brother. Ronderos.
There it is.
Yep, I'm too white for that. Doesn't work.
You still got it, though. Fuck yeah. Some people call me guacamole for a second. I'm like, wait a minute.
Wow.
Hey, bro. It's no different than my name being Collison and everybody saying Collision, but the difference is it just never pissed me off like it did my dad. I mean, still to this day, I go in the gym and I hear Collision more than I hear anything else, that or Fresh to Death or other things. But speaking of being in the gym, you've been in the gym because you're going to be fighting, like I mentioned, February 18th against Clayton Carpenter. What up, though, Chris? Make sure you share it out. With that being said, how are you feeling about getting back to the cage, man? I know it's been a little bit since the last time you got in the cage. How are you feeling, bro? I mean, it's a hot time to be in the UFC with everything they're talking with all this stuff with Conor McGregor and Chandler and all this good stuff. So tell me where you're at, bro.
Man, I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel the best I've ever felt. There's been a 2-year layoff, unfortunately, due to different things from injuries, suspensions, and 2 years before that. So it's been 4 years since I've had a full fight camp. You know, last time I had 4 fights in 9 months with WXC. Shout out to them.
Hey, Michigan's own.
Yep, exactly. And just waiting for 2 years, and then was able to get the last minute 10-hour notice fight against the number 10 in the world. And then again, just waiting another 2 years. So feel amazing, feeling great, feeling the best I've ever felt, bro. Mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, ready to fucking go get after it, man. I'm a fucking fighter, and that's what I love to do. And I haven't been able to be in my natural habitat, which is the cage, and now I have been. So I'm excited to get back in there, put on a show, and make some money, bro.
That's what I'm talking about. Make you some money.
Talk us through the progression of the skills that you've been able to improve on in these last couple of years while you have been sidelined, unfortunately.
So while I got injured last year, man, I wasn't able to train for about 9 months. And thanks to Extreme that they allowed me to become a coach as I was healing and recovering from that injury. And my IQ, man, my mentality just completely changed in the game. Not only being more appreciative to the coaches and what they go through and what they have to do, you know, us as fighters. Before that, I'd never coached. So I was never a coach, and I never kind of understood what they have to go through, but it's tough, man. Being a coach is fucking rough. Even just a daily coach at the gym, it's quite difficult. You know, you have 50, 40 people looking at you for guidance, and you know, if you say one thing, somebody could take it the wrong way or X, Y, and Z. But in my experience, I've gained nothing but good values from it. Just gratitude for my coaches, you know, investing in me for 13 years. Dennis Davis, Roman Nisbel, Eric Nixick, X, Y, and Z, and all the other coaches at Extreme, man. Just my IQ is superb now. I kicked my own ass a year ago, you know, so I can't wait to put that onto the under the lights and see how my mentality has changed. You know, we're not playing checkers, we're playing chess, and you know, just not just being that brute that goes in there and beats that ass, rather than setting things up properly. And man, just the last year, the injury was a blessing in disguise to make me go through something like this, so I can become a smarter fighter and be able to do what I'm about to do next week, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time in fighting, right? Fighting's mostly mental, right? It really is such a big aspect of the game. It's the mental aspect. And yet again, another thing that, being from this side, interviewing and talking to all these fighters and stuff, the ones that do get to interact on the coaching side, you really do get to see that kind of coin flip almost, where they start to view the game in a different aspect, right? Like they start to appreciate, like you were just saying, like the little things that go into coaching, the little things that you can see athletes do that, like, oh, hey, you need to improve on that. But also, if I'm telling them, that means, hey, I need to fucking improve on that. So like, you can see that the wheels start to turn from the athlete / coach perspective. It's a different thing for sure.
Yeah, it completely sends you back to the basics, like shit that I forgot about that I learned 10 years ago. I was like, oh crap, you know, like you're teaching somebody who's brand new in the gym, and you know, most of the time it's like, oh crap, I'm teaching you something that's really basic, but then it's like it makes me work on it, makes me go over the motions, and oh shit, that is true. I've gotten away from that and learned some bad habits and different things like that. But it's definitely mental, man. And shout out to the PI that's been helping us. A lot of UFC fighters having a sports psychologist there, besides the $4,000 that I save from all the other things that they provide to us, man. And a lot of people don't talk about that, and everybody that I speak to, I bring that up because it's really a blessing in this, and it's really grateful to be able to have such thing like the PI, like the Performance Institute here in Vegas, bro. It's wild.
Yeah, they provide meals and everything there, right?
Oh, let me go over it. I kind of started that fire a little bit. Physical therapy, strength and conditioning, food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, shakes, supplements. Each bottle is like $60, and I have over 10, 15 bottles. And all the UFC fighters have access to this, by the way. It's not just me. You know, sports psychology. Like I said, man, I did the math and I broke it down per item, per meal, per session. It's about $35,000 to $4,000 a month that they provide for us, you know. And one of the things that I sat down and spoke with Forrest Griffin about is like, well, you know, some fighters may feel like, oh, well, shit, I don't live in Vegas, and that's probably taking money away from us. But 82% or something along those lines, don't quote me on that, it's a really high percentage is not paid by the UFC. They're sponsored by other people. Does that make sense? So it's not like it's taking money away from us fighters. It's more like they're supplying that for us fighters. And besides like the red light therapy, the cryotherapy, the hot tub cold plunge, I mean, dude, people like Forrest and everybody there is amazing, from the front office to back to the security guards. They're all there just being extremely helpful. And I'm really appreciative of that institute that we have, that I have access to, and I'm able to bring 3 or 4 of my people with me to come and you know, amateur fighters and coaches, and to utilize that place with me. So that way it's not just my thing, it's our thing as a family, and as the harder that we train together, we can recover just as hard. And it's just an amazing place. And that's just me being kind of brief on it, not to go into detail with it, you know.
Well, another thing to go with training, you know, that you speak about, you know, I've gotten to come out there and train and, you know, meet Eric and all those guys down there. And you really do got a room full of killers over there at Extreme Couture. How much of a benefit is it for you to be out there with a room full of killers like that, you know, headed into the UFC? Because not only do you got the PI that's in Vegas, so you're essentially getting to utilize both facilities. And like you said, only getting to maximize your own training.
Dude, it's been amazing, bro. I mean, I've been at Extreme since I was like 15 years old, you know. I've been there for almost 13 years. I am who I am as a fighter because of Extreme Couture, you know, under Dennis Davis's wing. Robert Follis, rest in peace. Tim Lane, rest in peace. Roman Isbell, of course, Eric Nixick, you know, all those guys there. And the level of talent that is there right now, it's ridiculous, bro. There's no words for it. I mean, we have like top 10 bantamweights in the world, from Bellator fighters to UFC fighters. I mean, dude, the list just goes on and on. I think we took a picture maybe a week or two ago, and it was about over 65, 70 people there, and all bad motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, the weakest link is me, for example, and that gives you an idea of like how bad we are as a fucking team, you know?
So don't feel bad. I got to be the weakest link when I went out there. J-Bone just sat there and laughed his ass off while Gil kicked my ass. Shout out to Gil Gordado.
Hell yeah, Gil.
I see it, man. Like I said, it takes a different breed to be out there at Extreme Couture, man. So shout out to you for that. One thing I do want to ask, though, you mentioned there's a 2-year layoff since your last fight. What was it like being so close to this fight? Are there any nerves or any type of anxiety going in? Are you just too fucking pumped to get in there, or what's going on mentally?
It's just, I'm too focused, bro. I mean, I'm just hungry as fuck. I need it. I want it. I'm going to go get it. You know, I came from fighting every 3-4 months to not fighting at all. And unfortunately, in my 13+ year career, I've had about a 6-year layoff due to, you know, several reasons. One, from not being able to fight, nobody fighting me, you know, having 3 or 4 fights pull out, just being patient because of COVID, injuries, just bullcrap suspensions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I've just been able to grow as a fighter, taking that time off, and that's why I don't have the 13-1 career like other people do and have. And I have no nerves, man. I've been doing this for a very long time. I mean, of course, in the back of your head, you still have some type of nerves. You're still in there trying to fight a motherfucker. But at this moment and this point, there is no nerves. I'm just more excited to be able to get back in there and get a paycheck, bro. Like I discussed with other people, I believe in my dream so much. I gave up a $65,000+ a year job as an office manager to be able to live on my dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gave up financial stability to be able to chase my dream, you know? Yeah. I don't want to be the 50, 60-year-old regretting the decision that I didn't make, you know? I will be 50, 60 and saying, hell yeah, I did that. I risked everything, and I fought the number 10 flyweight in the world on a 10-hour notice. Yeah, I may have lost the fight, but I didn't lose in life. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm a fucking UFC fighter, and I know that my blessings are on the way, and I was patient. It's 15 years. Man, dreams don't come easy, dreams don't come cheap, and dreams don't come quick. How bad do you want it? And I fucking want it that bad, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get it. It's right there for me. Either I get it or not. I don't want any handouts. I just want an opportunity as the immigrant that I am. I don't need people to give me shit. Just give me an opportunity, and I'll prove to you why I am, and I am going to be the baddest motherfucker, the baddest flyweight ever.
Love that. I like it. Cutting promos on motherfuckers in here. I like it. I like it. You know, we rock with the pro wrestling side of things, dude. You got to tell me, did you ever rock with the other squared circle, man? If so, I mean, I feel like you got some of them promo skills.
No, man, just speaking from my heart, you know, just.
No, I feel you.
It's learning from coaching, just being able to inspire others. I learned a lot from Robert Follis and Tim Lane, and just speaking truths, man. Just, it's all mental, like you guys said, and I've been seeing the sports psychologist at the PI that, you know. One of the things with that is I always thought, like, it was kind of taboo for us, like, oh man, we're gonna hear talk about our feelings and shit. And like, it's nowhere near that, bro. It's completely the opposite of that. The way he put it, it's your mind is a muscle, you know. And if you want to get buff, you're not gonna go out there and just do one curl. You know, you have to do 100 curls for you to be able to get buff, and you have to understand how to do the curl. So with the psychology side of it, the sports psychology side of it, I am able to learn a lot more about the psyche, the mental aspect of it. And it's not like, okay, let me see how you feel and write this shit down. It's more like, hey, this is how your brain works. This is how we are wired. This is the tools that you need to be able to surpass that, you know, to live in the moment, live in the right now. You know, that's kind of like a lot of different tools that I've learned to be able to use that and just become mentally stronger, that most of my coaches have already taught me. But it's different when a scientist tells you that, you know, and backs it up with science and facts, not just, hey, this is how I did it, you know. And so just my mind is in a whole nother level. I mean, dude, this last month I've gone through so many things that I shouldn't even be fighting next month, but it doesn't fucking matter because I'm hungry and I'm here and the opportunity is right there, and I'm not gonna not take it because of life, you know. It's either you got the balls to go get it or you don't. And I promise you, I got a pair, bro.
I like it, dude. I like it, man. That's somebody ready to go and ready to get in there and bang in the octagon. Well, with that being said, you know, I know that when you're not, you know, cracking skulls inside a cage or training or all these good things, you know, I know that you like to get down with some war zones. So what is the loadout?
Look at the setup behind.
What is the? I know. I know.
I just feel, dude, I've been building rigs for everybody. Brad Tavares has a rig for me.
That's what I'm saying.
X, Y, and Z, bro. I love building computers. I love flying planes. I love simulating more than anything. The RPK and the Fennec at this moment. Shout out to them.
I like it. I'm not mad at that.
Even that much better. Even that much better.
Yes, sir. But to play like that with the Fennec and smack a lot of people, bro. I mean, I'm not the best. I'm not the greatest at the video game side, but I love it, man. It's a good. It keeps me sharp. That's for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Justin James. I just still wanted here on the record, you know, first of all, shout out to him because he also brought the good homie Chris Cale to the show as well.
Yep.
But with
going back this year, shout out to Justin, man. We've been working out at the PI.
Hell yeah.
2 weeks together, man. He's getting fucking stronger, and man, the Guitar Hero is gonna come back stronger than ever. Look out, bro. Scary motherfucker, bro.
I'm glad to hear that. I just texted him about that the other day. I'm so glad to hear that he's doing better and getting back in the cage. You know, anybody who doesn't know, I mean, Justin and I have known each other. Damn, I started training with him when I was 14, and I just turned 30. So do the math. Like I said, so it's great to see. It's great to see Justin getting back in there, and it sucks to see anybody have to go down due to injury. So it's great to hear that he's getting back there. I'm sure he'll be back on the show once he gets ready to come back and get in the cage. I'm sure he'll want to get after it with Carl Deaton again. But with that being said, let's talk a little bit about your fight on the 18th. Tell me what your thoughts are on your opponent, Clayton Carpenter, and how do you see this fight going? And, you know, what do you think your advantages are?
He's a great fighter, man. He's a very explosive, young up-and-comer. But I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm not at all worried about my opponent. I'm worried about more or less how I'm going to perform me versus me. Because that's all it is. It's me versus me out there, bro. Everything that's challenging me, and it's put it this way. There's a formula to it. 80% I'm worried about what I'm going to do, 20% about my opponent. I'm not going to focus on what he has to offer or what he doesn't. I'm going to focus on me just being able to perform. I'm not focused on the results, because then you get trapped into that. Like, oh, shit, I need to win, or I need to lose. It's more of like, hey, I'm just going to go out there and do my fucking best. I've been doing this for 15 years. You know, be able to live in the moment, enjoy the process, and be happy that, one, I get to do what I love to do, what I gave up a lot to be able to do. You know, from time, financial stuff. I mean, relationships, a lot, man. People don't understand, and people don't give a fuck, and that's okay. Hey, but you know what? It's me versus me out there, and I promise you, I'm gonna beat myself every time. You know, every time I'm just trying to be better than I was yesterday. And there's like, you know, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that in the fight, because one, I don't know. All I know is that I'm gonna perform my best and do what I've trained to do, and that's to kill a motherfucker, bro. That's all we've been trained to do for the last 15 years, you know? Stay steady, stay straight, and then just do what I love, and that's to fight, man, and just be in there and do all the technical sides that I've been working on for the last 2 years that I haven't been able to fight more mentality wise, and just have fun doing it, man. I'm a fucking UFC fighter. I love it. I can't wait to go back in there and just perform at the best. And do me, bro. That's my game plan, is just go in there and do what I've trained to do these last 15 years.
I'm looking forward to it, dude. I'm ready to see you get back in there. But I got to ask you, because I've gotten to chop it up with you when we've been playing Warzone. I know you're watching these fights just like we're watching these fights. So before we get to talking about UFC 284 this weekend, you got to tell me, what are your thoughts on this whole McGregor versus Chandler thing? And I can just tell you that our eyes are going to be peeled on it, and you'll see why pretty soon. But with that being said, you know, let us know what your thoughts are on that, because I thought they were going to fight at 170. I've heard 155. Either way, it's a pretty exciting matchup.
Man, it's going to be a verbal, elegant bomb, if you will. Like, besides the fight itself, just what they both bring to the table verbally is completely opposite from each other, but at the same time, it's fucking entertainment like a motherfucker. You want to talk about WWE or Raw? Like, this is the UFC side of that, like on steroids, if you will. The two possibly best trash talkers in the world, in the UFC world, coming together and then fighting after that is amazing. You know, like, yeah, WWE, they talk, they trash talk, and then they fight. But no, these motherfuckers are gonna fight, bro. Like, see who the best trash talker is, and also who the best fighter is, and putting them on the tough show. That's just marketing genius, man. Like, on the business side of it is just amazing. And you know, I'm not a huge fan of watching the trash talk per se like that, but those two know how to do it and know how to do it well. Especially you know, Chandler and the elegant side of it. He can trash talk you sweetly, and it's just kind of weird. Like, what? Like,
I was just saying that the other day. He is like the smoothest trash talker, but like he's not. It's like he's not talking trash, but for some reason he's still getting under your skin. It's like, dude, why are you so nice at
it
this?
Up, if anything, it's not like he's talking trash. He'll build up the opponents, build up the potential matchups, and everything like that. It's like he does like the whole see you at the top thing and stuff like that. Like, he's always placing himself in these matchups where he doesn't take away from his opponents, he adds to it.
Dude, that's Pro Wrestling 101, bro.
That's Pro Wrestling 101. Build them up and take them down, man.
Look, you hear Bully Ray say it all the time, bro. If you didn't make nobody, you didn't beat nobody. So, I mean, if you beat a bum, then what did you do?
Right.
Right, absolutely nothing. That's why you got to go out there and beat the best. If you want to, what is it saying? You want to beat the best,
right? But
the best.
No, what he's saying is if you make your opponent out like he's a bum, then what did you really do?
Oh, I see. That makes more sense, of course.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If you go beat him, like, he's a scrub and blah 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 and da da da. Who did you beat?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Especially if you barely beat him. Especially if you barely beat him. What's that mean? About you?
29-28 bullshit. You know, split decision.
So who do you think gets it? You got Chandler or you got Connor in that one?
Oh man, my heart says Chandler, but my mind says McGregor. Chandler's hands stay low, bro. McGregor's a fucking sniper, bro. McGregor's a sniper. You can't take that away from him. He's too snipey, bro. And then, like, he does great against brawlers. You know what I'm saying? And that's just because his technicality is just so precise and right down the pipe. You know, but hey, you never know. It's a fight, and Chandler's very explosive and a great wrestler on top of that. Like,
I was going to ask you, do you think that after his last fight, you know, we saw him wrestle a bunch in his last fight with Poirier before it ended the way it did. He was doing pretty well the first couple rounds against Poirier like that, you know, and against a guy like McGregor, you know, that might be the path to victory, because personally, I think if they get outside of round 2, which Connor is very good at being able to drag a fight out, I think, like you said, Chandler's going to blow his wad in the first couple rounds, whether that's him winning or losing. And if it goes into the third round, the odds instantly will switch a little bit over to the McGregor side. And like you said, the precision that McGregor does have, whether you like him or not, I feel like is going to be the problem if we go to the later rounds. But either way, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an exciting season, and it's coming back to regular ESPN. So, like I said, hopefully – they're doing that, and they just announced today. This is the part that's interesting, and I'd love to hear all of your guys' thoughts on this. They said half the season is veterans and half the season is new guys.
What? That's badass, dude. They're just coming. Yeah. That's better than the power slap shit. I'll tell you that.
Oh God, don't get us.
I'm so glad to hear somebody else say that besides me, dude. Like, I love fights, dude, but like that, I can't even watch it like that.
Look at the reactions.
I just killed me with that one, man. Killed me.
I don't mind them slapping the shit out of each other. That's completely okay, and I would watch that if it wasn't pushed like a UFC thing. You know what I'm saying? If it was its own thing, I might fuck with it. But you guys are comparing them as athletes. You guys are putting them in like, how the fuck are you marketing them more than this upcoming UFC card? Like, of course, it's Dana White's so they do whatever they want. But like, I just
hear Dana say it. Dana said that Makhachev doesn't know what he's talking about when he said that. So
The problem is,
And then
it's
there's a
one
reason
move.
he's a billionaire and we're not, right?
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing. But Dean Thomas had the best counter that anybody can say to that. So I kind of almost lean a little bit towards what Dean said too, because he said you got to think about it. He was like, why would he want a title fight that has their 2 champs on it to tank? He was like, in what world does that make any type of logical business sense? And he just laid it out like all business sense wise, and it's like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, of course, but in Dean Thomas's opposite of his defense in the opposing corner, Dean's in Dana's corner on this one because, like, I mean, there's so like the real criticism, and I agree completely with your point, is if I wasn't seeing it force fed to me on the UFC Twitter account and all this shit, that's where it bothers me. Is like we could be seeing like short 30-second profiles of fighters just like yourself coming in there, 2 weeks from now and be like, hey, this is why you should pay attention to Juancamilo going into his, his sophomore outing in the UFC. Like they could do stuff like that instead of showing some other dude get knocked out for the 4th time by a fucking slap. That's my issue with it.
Yeah.
And that's not even like to spin it on a selfish thing towards you. It's like any of the undercard athletes that you're trying to build up into being potential stars. I use you because we're dealing with you right now, but really it's any of the guys, man. There's so many people, especially from other countries and stuff, that don't even speak the language. Like they could really use the promotional push.
Bro, let me put it this way. I have no idea where I'm at in the card. Like, zero clue. Like, if you look at the ESPN, the UFC sites, they only have, like, the main event and, like, 3 prelims. It's a 12-fight card.
Yeah.
They're not pushing any of us. Not next week, not the next week after that. Like, they just barely put the main card out on last week's fights, but I have no fucking clue, bro. I texted my manager, Jason House from Iridium, who would know, and he has no clue. So, like, what are they doing? They're too busy doing other stuff, promoting other stuff. And hey, not to like, they know what they're doing, bro. It's not just Dana White's business. They're owned by an entertainment company, so they know what they're doing. The only thing that just rubs me the wrong way is like, why are you using our platform to push that? Like, let them have their own fucking thing, bro. Like, I get it. You made an investment. You want it to return to you as fast as possible. But motherfucker, we're here too. I've been doing this shit for 15 years. You just grab Bob and Joe off of X, Y, and Z to go slap each other. What the fuck is that? That's kind of disrespectful to other fighters, not just me, like other motherfuckers that Islam, the number 1 and number 2 champ in the fucking world, like the pound for pound. That's just disrespectful to them. And that's all my argument is. I love to see a motherfucker slap another motherfucker in the face. That's funny as shit to me.
I'm with you. I like seeing shit like that, but at the same time, like coming from a platform where a sport is based on like the science of defense, you got a guy standing there with no defense, and we're just shutting his lights out because that's the sport. How referees are told to protect the fighter. Boxing, MMA, you see it all the time. Protect the fighter at all costs. Fighter can't defend himself, protect them. These guys have no protection. The idea is to slap this dude unconscious. We're going backwards, people. I don't know.
Dude, I saw one of things, and like he slapped the shit out of the guy, and then you see Forrest because they have like guests.
The Forrest catch.
He caught this dude and looked at him, and he was just disgusted. You can just see it in his face. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck am I doing? This is bullshit." Like, but obviously Forrest's not gonna say that. But
back down and shit onto his chest. His arm was froze, and he had to like push him back down. I'm like, come on, Forrest.
You can see he was not fucking cool. He was not happy being there. He was second guessing life choices right there. Forrest was just like, "Oh, this is not okay. What the fuck?" But
that's actually, I had brought that up on the show. I think a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
I had brought up that exact point. I was like, that's the type of stuff that kills me. If you want to make it its own thing completely, but the fact that you have like legends in there, and I love Forrest to death. He does a great job with the PI and all that stuff. And I hear all the time from athletes how he's wonderful, great work for him. Why do you got to have him do this other role? Why can't he just do what he's already doing a really great job of? Why is he got to try to catch?
He needs his investment back, bro. It's business. He needs his money back. He put fucking X amount of money in there. He needs it back.
It's just like the WWE
Yeah.
when they had the XFL and all that stuff trying to capitalize off that. It's all Dana trying to use what he built to try to help it. So in a way, it's smart business. It is what it is. But
and if any one of us did the same thing and we have a platform to
I
use
can't say I wouldn't.
Right. Yeah, so that's
I mean, you'd be an idiot if you didn't. But I totally get your point from the fighting standpoint. But speaking of the fighting standpoint, before you go, we'll end on this. Makhachev and Volk. Who wins? Who you got? Who are we putting our money on?
Dude, number one, I don't bet on fights because every time I bet, I fucking lose. And when I don't bet and I think that so-and-so is going to win, they fucking win. So my heart is going with Volk, for the little guys coming up and fucking being able to accomplish something great like that. But my mind says fucking Islam, bro. Like, again, you just don't know. I mean, one of the things that Volk said that we were talking with a few of the guys earlier today was like, hey, if Islam can take me down, I can get right back up. That's already a kind of a fucked up mindset because, like, if Islam takes you down, then he's going to do it again and again and again. And his submission game is no joke, bro. Like, but then again, fucking Volkanovski's just so light on his feet. He's such an explosive. I think he fought in heavyweight before. Like, his first couple fights were heavyweight. So he's also a big boy. Like, he doesn't.
Heavyweight, middleweight.
All the weights. Fucking so I can't even say this is who I think is gonna win. I mean, like I said, man, my heart's going with Volk for this one, just for what he can accomplish and for the smaller guys, I guess, if you will. And but my mind says Islam in the IQ and just his skill in the ground and also the power he does have, So that's my answer to that, bro, because I can't even say anything else.
I like it, dude. I've been hearing a lot of people still saying they think Volk could win, and I tell you what, dude, if you are a betting man, hot damn, like the odds that they put on Volk are insane. I mean, don't get me wrong. I honestly kind of think that I feel like Makhachev's going to win this one, but at the same time, dude, to give a guy like Volk that has proven himself like that such horrible odds, like. Yeah. Dude, I'm putting money on that because I know that he could always knock him out, dude. That's the thing.
And not only that, when the fight was first made and actually like rumbled about and then like became official, we seen Volkanovski make his way into the Octagon after he won the belt and stuff. I was like, man, this is some real uphill climbing, man. I feel like bad for Volk if this is the guy he's going to have to try to go up to 155 to face. As we make our way a lot closer to the fight, and now here we are, fight week, Volkanovski, in my mind, does stand more of a chance. The more like kind of digging and stuff that I've done, he's a guy that never gives up on himself. He's rarely puts himself in bad predicaments. And when he does, he almost always finds a way out of them extremely fast. The only time he didn't was the Ortega fight. And even then he was able to outwill the position. So he's going to be somebody that's really hard to deal with. I just still feel like, to your point, man, Islam's a big dude. He's a big dude for the weight class. And you're already talking about Volk, who's not necessarily the tallest. And I feel like that would be, it's uphill climbing still. I want to see Volkanovski be able to do it, but it's definitely some uphill climbing.
And that fuels his fire, bro, because Volkanovski, like, I think I saw one of his interviews, he loves the challenge, bro. Like, that makes him better. He doesn't want the easy fight. He wants the baddest motherfucker in the room because that's how he works. And that's how it should be, All these, I don't know, some guys just like, oh, an easier fight, an easier paycheck. He said, no, fuck that. Go ahead and give me Islam, I don't think he's taking an easy fight. Like, beat Max Holloway a couple times, Ortega. I mean, X, Y, and Z. All these guys are just bad motherfuckers as he's fought.
He's cleared out that division, and he's cleared out that division, made his mark, and he's getting the shot to do the pound for pound. Which, I mean, for him to be there, like we've said multiple times, when you do those, sometimes a lot of times it's before somebody's cleared out a division. This guy has clearly completely taken out 145. Now he's going against Makhachev, who's the number one at 155. But speaking of 45, though, bro, who you got in the co-main?
Crap. Who's the co-main? Please refresh my
Josh Emmett, Yair Rodriguez.
I think Josh Emmett's an underrated, underlooked, bad motherfucker, bro. Nobody not a lot of people know. Like, if you're not a true fan, you don't really know Josh Emmett. More people know Yair. But Josh Emmett, I think, is world champion material, bro. Like, that's just my take on it. But again, not to say that Yair isn't. I'm just saying Josh Emmett is very overlooked. And I think he was going to surprise a lot of people now. He had to like get some knee surgery, I believe, and he fucking fought through that, bro. Like, I've had an injury close to that, not on my knee, but I couldn't move, bro. Like, just imagine carrying both sides of your fucking knee and still scrapping for like 15 minutes. That takes a whole other animal, bro. And you know, I hope that you're prepared for it for the Latinos, man. You know, obviously standing next to them, but that's a bomb fight, and then you're so explosive and tricky too that it's gonna be a scrap, bro. I can't even give you a result on that one. Besides, well, I could say probably Josh would get that. I think I'm gonna go with Josh for this one, but not to say that fucking the Pantera can't get that either. You know, fucking spinning back heel kick to the throat, and
remember the wild elbow he had?
Bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I tried that shit once, fucking got my ass kicked trying to fuck around. Nope.
Fuck around and find out, man.
It's weird to me though. It's weird to me that Emmett is riding that 5-fight winning streak and he's the underdog. The lines on this is kind of it's tricky.
Who knows the betting side, bro? Who knows the betting side?
To his point, man. Fan favorite, man. The fan favorite. That's why. Yeah. And really, my big concern going into this one for Josh Emmett, because I agree with the toughness factor and all that, is the speed, man. Yair brings a level of quickness in there that I feel like if you go back to Josh Emmett's last fight when he fought Cater, I feel like the one thing was Cater was able to punch him up a bit with the boxing, and it was mostly dealt with the quickness that he was able to get in and out with his strikes. And I feel like if Yair's able to do that and implement his quickness in this fight, we may see him the new interim. But
yeah, because Josh's overhand is fucking nasty, bro. That overhand is dirty.
Bombs.
Well, brother, man, I appreciate the time. We appreciate you coming through. I know you got a training session to get to, man. Let everybody know where they can find you, do your thing, and we're looking forward to seeing you getting that Octagon February 18th.
Thank you guys again for giving me the opportunity. Go ahead and check me out next Saturday, February 18th, ESPN Plus. Don't know what part of the card is yet, but his fights start at 1. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram, #1 CAMILOR. Everywhere else, so follow these guys, check them out. Appreciate you guys so much for the time and opportunity. This is one of many, and appreciate the chat, man. You guys are awesome.
Hell yeah, brother, man.
Appreciate the time, brother.
Thank you guys. Nice to meet you guys too. Have a wonderful night. See you guys soon.
Likewise, brother.
You too.
Yes, sir. Juancamilo Ronderos is getting in the cage February 18th. I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the homie get back in the cage. And I'm looking forward to UFC 284. And I'm looking forward to making some money. If you got to make some money and get your taxes together, make sure you check out the homies at G3 Payroll and Tax. I'm headed to that motherfucker tomorrow morning. I got to get my money. Uncle Sam done taking enough. And I spent a lot on WrestleMania. But WrestleMania, I'm going to be in that bitch. Just like, hey, you know, in the background, I got on the TV over here, and I just saw past guest of the show, Marty Bell, and Detroit's own Pinkies Up, AK, coming back to Impact, and PCO picking up a motherfucking dub over here on Impact. So, you know, shout out to past guests of the show. If you guys are from the pro wrestling side of things, you know, make sure you check those out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And, you know, speaking of the pro wrestling side of things, also, make sure you check out the State of Pro Wrestling. The links to their stuff are there. You know, John's bringing you guys some heat from the Minnesota area. I know he was just at WrestlePalooza, all kinds of stuff there. Make sure you check out his links and show them some love. And, you know, Combat 1 tomorrow, J-Bone. Combat 1. I am looking forward to getting out there, watching D-Mac get in there and scrap with old chin strap Jesus. It's gonna be a good time, dude.
One thing I'm looking for on that card, and it totally slipped my mind. I don't know how this even happened, but Devon's boys, I can't think of their name right now. Was it TNT?
TNT are facing our homies Midwest Scum.
I'm pumped for that, dude. Anytime Midwest Scum's on the card, you know it's gonna be a good night, energetic night, entertaining night. It's gonna be awesome. Combat 1 puts on a good show. I've been there just the one time. Hell of a show, hell of a time. So I'm pretty pumped for that tomorrow night.
I'm looking forward to it, dude. Shout out to D-Mac getting back in the ring. We're going to have to see what happens with that. I'm looking forward to getting down there. And, for any of you guys who missed Tuesday's show with Mother Endless, she said she wanted to fight Su Yung. Su Yung is going to be on this card as well, as she's going head-to-head with fellow Impact star Giselle Shaw. I'm looking forward to that. And then you got Matt Sydal and Jason Hotch, who we just saw get beat up by Mickey James and Tommy Dreamer. But yeah, I'm looking forward.
Are the boys going to be in the back trying to connect the dots? That's what I want to know. Are they going to be trying to pull some strings and see if we can get some matches set up? That's what I'm wondering.
Never know.
I mean, look, bro, I've learned that there's always people listening to this, so I'm just saying. And if you guys are listening, Impact, we would love to bring on some more of your talent, but that's a story for another time.
Go.
But with that being said, dude, I'm looking forward to Combat 1. Shout out to Jack and G3 Payroll. And yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward to UFC 284, at least for the co-main and the main. Yeah. It's crazy though, like even though we're talking about a champ fight, as I got the whole card pulled up on here, it's let me get my thing to work here and we'll be all right. I don't want to see that fight because that fight already happened. Come on now, UFC, get it together. Anyways, it's not the most star-studded card is my point for it being such a big title fight. I love the co-main. I love the main event. But I just feel like it needs a little more
juice. There's definitely some sleepers. There's some sleepers on there. I get your point, but I feel like the thing is, right, is whenever you have these fights that take place over in, faraway countries, Australia, of course, being one of them, it's on the other side of the damn world. Like you get a lot of the
going to be gnarly.
Oh, they're going to be wild.
You get a lot of the hometown talent. You get a lot of the guys that maybe, like you get the Jack Della Maddalena. Like, people are a fan of him, but he's definitely still on the rise. He's still one of them people where maybe not everybody's familiar with him, but there's a reason why he's the third fight from the top is because he.
Oh, I like Jack Magdalena, man. Like I definitely.
Same thing with Jimmy Crew. I know he's coming off the loss to now champion Jamal Hill, but man came off a huge layoff. He came off a huge layoff. He looked incredibly impressive earlier in his career, and he's hit a bit of a slump. Now he's, if I'm not mistaken, took an 18 months off, and he's coming back against Alonzo Menningfield. That's a fun fight too, man. 205. Them boys are going to get in there and throw them bitches. That's for sure. So I feel like it's one of them
what we're going to be throwing on Saturday, Corey? You know what we're going to be throwing?
Huh?
Diapers.
You know what we're going to be throwing? Damn it, you beat
diapers.
Me to it.
Lots of fucking diapers. Yeah. I already know.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, I've done my share of diaper throwing, all right?
Yo, the little homie Maddox is making his debut next week. It's okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Does she get an actual date yet? Do we know?
I mean, she does, but she's not telling me.
Well, either way, I agree with your point, Kyle. There's definitely, it's one of those cards where people like me are going to be like, man, this guy's coming back. Oh, this guy's taking on this guy,
like
that.
Don't get me wrong. When I say it doesn't have like that juice, I'm not saying that it's not going to have good fights. Like you said, like I just said, I'm a big fan of Jack. I like the fight with Randy Brown. To be honest with you, there's a few fights on here that I like. I mean, to be honest, I like that Jimmy Crute fight too. But I'm just saying, like,
as the opening fight of the main card too. That's
right. Well, right. And my whole thing is this, right? Like, I love back in the day when this is again goes to my point with there being so many UFC fights is like it used to be when you would get a card like that where you got essentially 2 title fights on it. That whole bitch was stacked down the whole joint.
They did originally have Whitaker and Costa scheduled.
That's true. That's true. And that fight falling out now, if you had that one on there, it would have been pretty hard to complain with that.
2 title fights, and then that is like your cherry before the titles.
So I mean, that's fair. That's a fair point too. I forgot about that. So that's a fair point too. But I'm looking forward to it, dude. I mean, let's go. We'll just go over the main card on this one. But you got Jimmy Crute and Menafield. I'm gonna go Jimmy Crute on this one.
I mean, hometown advantage is a real thing, right? And like we were
especially
talking
in that
with,
place.
talking with Juan there, man. You get you get the time off, right? And you can either use that to improve your skills or not. And I feel like listening to some of his media stuff going into this fight, Jimmy Crute definitely used that time to do as much as he could to improve his skills. He seems to be going into it very confident. I'm going to lean that direction as well. But Alonzo Meningfield is a finisher. So if Jimmy Crute gets caught slipping, man,
it's going
to be put in a bad spot. But
I'm with you guys on that one, though. Jimmy Crute. Would you say it was an 18-month layoff, Corey? Is that what you said it was?
I believe so. I know it was well over a year. I know for sure it was well over a year, but I don't know. I believe I heard 18 months earlier, but
you're right, though. I mean, that could take one punch and that's over. But I'm gonna ride with you guys on this one. I'm gonna take Jimmy Crute as well.
Yeah, dude. Either way, I'm like I said, I'm still saying that's going to be an entertaining fight. I think, like you said, Corey, I don't think Menafield is anything that can be slept on. The next fight that we got on here, you got Justin Tafa versus Parker Porter. I don't know, man. So this fight's interesting for me because I don't know as much about both guys. I've seen Tafa fight. It says Tafa's coming in off a win. Porter's coming in off a loss.
On a skid. He was on a skid before that. You'll be familiar with Tafa. He was the one when Tai Tuivasa.
I do remember Tafa. Yeah, I remember Tafa.
When he made his first big push, it was Tai Tuivasa and Tafa were like inseparable. And then Tafa kind of fell on a streak, and Tai Tuivasa went the other direction and kind of rose towards the top echelon. And now here we are. To your point, Kyle, he is coming off a win, but before that, if I'm not mistaken, he was on a 3-fight skid. So it's still kind of one of those fights where what direction are we going in our career type of thing for him, in my opinion, at least. And then for Parker Porter, he's an interesting character in the UFC because I feel like he's more skilled than I feel like his fights lead people to see, I guess you can say. I feel like he's actually pretty decent, especially for the heavyweight division. I feel like he doesn't always throw as much into his shots as he should, especially for fighting at 265, being at the upper echelon of the division. I feel like he could rely on that power just a little bit more without putting himself in too much of dangerous positions. That's my only real critique with Porter in this one. But both of these guys have been kind of grueling heavyweight fighters that usually bang it out throughout the 3 rounds, win or lose in a decision. So that's the way I'm going, is that I feel as though it's going to be a decision for all those bettors out there. Worth maybe seeing what the line is on that one. Yeah, see J-Bone popping that head up real quick. But no, in all seriousness, I think I'm going to go Parker Porter, but maybe that hometown advantage brings Tafa a win on this one. But we shall see.
I got Tafa. He had Porter. Who do you got?
Look, man, like you said, the hometown advantage here. I'm taking Tafa, and I'm going to go a little bit further by TKO. We're going to take that prop bet this time. I think it's going to knock him out. Got to play to win, baby. Let's go.
Hey.
J-Bone's trying to make him some money before he goes and does them taxes. How y'all feeling about this co-main, dude? Like, part of me wants to say I think Josh Emmett's going to get a knockout, but something also tells me that the movement of Yair Rodriguez could be a real problem.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, the speed, man, the speed is the biggest question for me. It really, truly is how is Josh Emmett going to deal with the speed that Yair brings into this matchup? And my only critique, I guess, of Yair is he going to be able to constantly avoid the power while also being able to implement his? And I feel like the only time we've seen him deal with that type of matchup, well, 2 times, I guess, Jeremy Stevens and Korean Zombie. one time was very successful in the Jeremy Stevens one. Granted, he got the win in the Korean Zombie fight, but he was losing that damn fight until he won it at the very, very last second, like 0.1 second on the clock. So it's an interesting fight. Right? Yeah, that was the elbow one. But I'm very curious to see, how does Yair deal with the power? Is he able to stay elusive, use them kicks, and implement his game, possibly avoid takedowns? Because I feel like Josh Emmett in his time off is going to maybe bring some more takedowns, especially the type of fighter that he's facing in Yair. I feel like that would be a smart game plan if he's able to get him down at least. But it's a tough matchup for both guys, and that's what I really like about it, is it's going to kind of prove in the styles whose style is superior in this matchup, as long as something weird doesn't happen, injury or something. I'm excited for the matchup. I lean towards Yair because of the speed, but it's going to be a fun one.
Who you got, J-Bone?
I'm with Corey on this one, man. There's a reason he's number 2 at that weight division. He's still growing as a fighter. He's fast. He's precise with his punching. If he can somehow keep it on the feet, I think he's going to pick him apart and win this one, man. I'm taking Yair.
I don't think it's going to be as hard of a thing for him to keep it on his feet, because let's not forget, Josh Emmett has gone accustomed to knocking motherfuckers out. So, I think if Josh Emmett wins this one, he's knocking him out. I think Yair, though, could make that be a big problem with the movement. On a bet, I'm going to go with Yair Rodriguez. On the main event, we made our picks kind of with Juan.
Wait, did we miss one? I think we missed one, Kyle.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, Jack Dilla, Madalena.
Oh, we did skip
Randy Brown.
The fight that I said is going to be a good one to watch.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a banger. I thought you were doing it for the sake of time, so I didn't want to. But I was definitely on my mind. I'm like, of all the fights he's going to skip, is that one? Like, what?
Whatever. I think Jack Magdalena is getting a fucking dub, is what I think. I like him, dude. I enjoy his fights. I enjoy the way he fights. And the thing is, for being a guy who's been such the knockout artist, I think my favorite thing that I like with him is that he's very precise. That guy picks his shots. He's not just throwing shots to throw shots.
Yep.
And I love seeing somebody who can just get in there and crack them off nice and crispy like that and just piece somebody up, because I love to see good boxing this time of year inside the Octagon. So I can get down with some Jack Magdalena.
Do you want to take the knockout prop on this, Kyle? Because right now, we all have the same picks. I think it's the first time in the history of this. Right now,
wow,
we're at the 3 out of the 5 fights on the main card. We all have the same picks as of now. So here we go with this one. Do you want to take the knockout prop?
Well, I think, didn't Kyle just say he had Josh Emmett? Didn't you say you had Emmett?
No, he said he had Rodriguez.
I got Yair, but I think if Emmett wins, he's winning by knockout.
Okay, that's what threw me out. Is I thought you said all right, but all right. To go on to this one though, I feel like this is a way tougher fight than what Jack has fought, at least in the UFC.
Oh, right? I agree completely.
And that's where I feel like this is a huge step up. I mean, we'll see whether Jack I'm gonna mess his name up, Madalena, however the hell you say
Magdalena.
But he's a hell of a fighter, and my only issue is he's far less of a proven talent, where I feel like Randy Brown, coming off of those performances, I mean, he's just on how many, let me 1, 2, 3, 4 fight win streak in the UFC. So I mean, in his last one, I mumbling my fucking words over here, but I feel like Randy Brown he's a serious step up in competition, and I feel like this may be a step too far. I can understand why, given home field advantage, because I've laid so much of my picks kind of on that up to this point. I don't know, man. I feel like Randy Brown with his length,
I said that about Roman Dolidze too, and it paid off in spades for me. So you know what? Go get you some, Jack.
Yeah. But I feel like his size, man. I feel like the size of Randy Brown and the fact that he is a little bit more of a proven talent went in there and dealt with killers, dealt with people with power and Chaos Williams and stuff like that, and came out victorious in those. I feel like this is going to be a tough fight for Jack. I got to go Randy Brown on this one.
You
Gotta.
bastard. Corey's shaking it up, man. Look, I'm going with Kyle here. I'm taking Medellina. I'm taking him by KO, man. He's gonna be, listen, one little stat he's got, 14 out of his last 15 fights have failed to go the distance. His past 3, all knockouts. So
bang, bang, bang.
I'm putting my money on Medellina, man, by knockout. But I will give you this. Randy Brown does have a 5-inch reach. That's very, very big.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Randy Brown at all. Like I agree with you. It's definitely a step up in fight for Magdalena for sure. And like we were saying with the main event, I think that Volk definitely has more of a chance than the odds makers are giving him. But if I'm keeping it 100, I think Islam Makhachev wins this fight.
Yeah, I agree so much with what Juan was saying earlier. The heart and the head pick, man.
I've got no problems with Volk. Like, I like Volk. I think exactly like you just said, the fact that he's fighting up from the smaller guys, but dude, Makhachev's just a fucking, he's a whole another fucking.
It's a different level of strength and fighter. Man. I mean, we seen Volk
Russian
get in trouble.
batter, I crush you, bro.
He got in trouble slightly against Ortega. He was in that guillotine, and it wasn't looking good for a minute. If he gets him anywhere near that, you're not getting out, man. It's just not going to happen. Like, listen, Volk's a great fighter. There's a reason he's pound for pound number 1, and this makes this a very important fight. All titles aside, this is for the number 1 pound for pound, crown pretty much. This is a very important fight, but I don't think that Islam, like I said, he's just another level fighter. It's different. It's just different. Volk doesn't have what it takes to outstrength him on the ground, if you ask me. And he's bigger. He's a big dude. He can use his length on the ground. He uses length on the feet. Matchup wise, I don't think it's very good for Volk, but I don't think he is at risk like we say he is. If anything, he's going to go out there and either get tapped real quick or he's going to drag it out. It's going to be a great fight, and eventually he'll get tapped. But either way, I'm taking Islam by sell on this one.
Yeah, this is like I was saying, man. Come on, Volk. Get it done, baby. I almost fucking ordered a goddamn shirt all the way from fucking Australia. Because that ring shirt, I don't know if you've seen his shirt that he's got his whole crew walking around in. It's the championship rings on the back. That shirt's sick, man. I wanted one so bad, but there ain't no damn way I'm paying $35 to ship a damn t-shirt across the fucking world. So here we are.
$35 to ship the shirt.
That's minus the actual price of the shirt. We're just talking shipping for $35.
That's just shipping, bud.
Oh boy,
that's just shipping.
Yikes.
I thought I did this stuff to escape work, Corey.
Kyle, can you give me a price on that?
Yeah, Kyle, do you know how much?
If I told you how many people I have come to me and are mad at me because of the price being expensive when they're mailing out a box that's like this big and they're like, I've mailed boxes like this my whole life. I don't understand why it's so much more expensive. Well, ma'am, it's 50 pounds and 20 inches long. But I've mailed boxes that big before. Okay, but you're mailing it to California too. What?
You understand, man?
Well,
this one single box is going to take up almost half of the back of a mail truck. Like, we have to make a whole separate trip.
Or my favorites when you get them where they're like, when you get something that's like super long that can't fit in a mail truck. Well, why couldn't they bring it? I was home. Well, sir, it's longer than the truck. Well, I was home. I'm just saying. But all I know is I'm going to be home on Saturday. I'm going to be watching UFC 284 on Saturday. And like I said, we will be in the building at Combat 1. And I will be back behind the mic February 18th. For lights out. I can't do it as good as Bulletproof Troop, but I'm going to be back behind the mic Knockouts and 3 Counts will all be in the building. I will be cage side. Come out, catch some fights. You never know what you're going to see. And this Tuesday, we're supposed to be joined by the man behind the madness of Lights Out, Matt Friendo, to talk about the card. We'll get his thoughts on UFC 284, give you our thoughts. And hey, you know, by this time next week, maybe we'll be talking about somebody else's debut. We'll have to talk soon. Until next time, in between time, make sure you hit subscribe. Peace.